listening to Unravel with Natly Denise.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome to Nightly with Natly, a segment of Unravel with Natly Denise, where I have a usual interview podcast where I do invite guests, but because I have taken on this endeavor to do a daily pod with some news to you guys, Nightly with Natly has been more frequent, but actually I do have a podcast that I plan on publishing tomorrow. It was a interview between two clinical traumatologists that work a lot with trafficking victims. So I think that that's going to be a very interesting pod for you guys to listen to. So I will be posting that tomorrow. All right, what's going on in my life? Man, I am gearing up for next week. I'm going to be in Dallas for the Reawakening tour in Dallas. And so I will be there for about 3 days, but I'm hopefully going to still continue my coverage of the whole Ghislaine Maxwell trial on my main channel, as well as I might not be able to do the Nightly with Natly for those days. I'll see. I still have some commitments, so I'll try to figure this out. I'll try to figure it out. We'll probably just film record it earlier that day. So anyway, what else is going on? Guys, don't forget, Natly Denise Cosmetics. Support your fellow patriot cosmetic company. Not many out there. If not, maybe I'm the only one. This is what it looks like. And I've been using it, obviously. It's made to be used. And I am wearing the colors right now. I like the neutral colors. And it comes with 3 lips. These long-lasting liquid lipsticks. And there's one that's separated. Every cent of the purchase price of this lipstick, Haruth Mauve, goes towards human trafficking rescue and aftercare. So that's my way of giving back. Good evening, everybody. Thank you so much for joining. Appreciate y'all for always supporting me. Let's go ahead and jump into some of the news. Jussie Smollett. I completely forgot about this guy. But I guess the Ghislaine Maxwell trial, because, you know, we're trying to keep up with everything going on there, it got overshadowed. It overshadowed this trial. And there's a bunch of like big high profile trials going on, as well as there's a Supreme Court hearing on, I believe, the Roe versus Wade overturning something to that matter. Actually, I should bring that up. So I'll bring that up later. But let's start with this. So you guys remember about the whole Jussie Smollett incident where, you know, the claim is that he staged a hate hoax, or he staged a hate crime, and it turned out to be a hate hoax. There's a lot of conflicting things that happened and things that just didn't make sense with the timeline, with the like logistics, all those things. And so everybody found out from all political spectrums found out that he staged this whole thing. So now there's a trial going on surrounding this case. So 2 people, part of that scenario, the 2 Nigerian brothers that were basically paid off to go pull this thing off, now they have turned against Jussie Smollett, a Nigerian brother who Jussie Smollett claims is a violent homophobe, tells trial he was a bouncer at a gay club and spent hours handing out condoms and flexing while dressed as a Trojan warrior at a 2015 Pride Parade. Okay, well, all right. I sense that he's trolling him just a bit. So let's dive into this. The Nigerian brother who Jussie Smollett's legal team claimed was a homophobic and motivated to attack him on January 29, 2019, because he hated who he was, told his trial on Thursday how he respects the gay community, having worked as a bouncer at a gay club and walked around at a pride parade, handing out condoms and flexing while dressed as a Trojan warrior. Olabinjo Osundario took the stand on Thursday afternoon after Smollett's trial with the intention of getting the truth out, he said. He said he had made no arrangements or deals with the prosecution and was testifying to share what happened on January 29, 2019. A night the brothers described as being colder than penguin feet. Oh my gosh, these Nigerian brothers are doing nothing but trolling Jussie, because Jussie was only in it for himself. Like this whole thing, like the whole basis for this hate hoax stage was that he was trying to like save his career somehow or get paid, something to the matter where he was about to lose his acting job somehow, and he thought that this was going to save his job. And yeah, it's bizarre. Anyway, it sounds like they're turning on him and they're having a lot of fun with it. He and his brother Abel, who Smollett's team said that he was having sexual relationship with on Thursday, say they were hired by the actor to beat him up, but not to hurt him in a staged hate crime that Smollett wanted to go viral. They didn't anticipate, and by the way, it did. You saw nothing but Hollywood elite just reaction and feigning and holding their heart, clutching their pearls over this whole incident. When initially, I remember when I first saw the headline and it flashed on my phone like as a news notification, I just thought there's too many buzzwords in this headline for this to be, legit. But that was my first reaction. It turned out that my reaction was correct because it was too many buzzwords all in one headline. So anyway, it did go viral and Hollywood elite caught fire to it. They didn't anticipate that the police would become involved and only ever wanted to help Smollett, their friend who helped them with their careers and picked up the tab when they partied together. Ola told who is short for 𝘲𝑗𝐫𝐻𝑗𝐽, Ola told the court that contrary to what Smollett's team had suggested, he was never a violent homophobe that worked at a gay club called Boystown, where he respected the clientele. The jury also shown a photo of Ola dressed up as a Trojan warrior at a Pride Parade in 2015. I think that I don't know if this is it or not. Is this it? Maybe that's just a shirtless picture. When asked what he did that day, he said he spent time handing out condoms and flexing. I had no hate for anybody, he told the jury. Earlier in a surprise line of questioning, defense attorney Shay Allen asked Ola's brother Abel, when did you and Jussie start dating? And then he says, he asked him if he remembered the time that he and his Smollett did explicit things in a bathhouse together. Abimbola replied, we were never dating, and said that he just wanted to be friends with Smollett. I mean, look at them just smiling away. These Nigerian, they're hilarious. Like they know they're trolling. They know they're trolling throughout this entire trial. They know how ridiculous this all turned out to be. During a brief lunch break, the brothers told DailyMail.com on their way out to Pop. Why did Daily Mail include that? Daily Mail, you ought to be ashamed. Oh, Daily Mail knows what they're doing. Daily Mail, what are you doing? Listen to this. Daily Mail is trolling. Listen to this. During a brief lunch break, the brothers told DailyMail.com on their way out to Popeyes that they couldn't speak too much about the trial and didn't know how long it was going to last. Like, they're so irrelevant. Like, Daily Mail's such a troll. Abel said that he was glad every day that when he was asked if he was relieved that the trial was finally underway, Smollett's attorney also asked Abimbola if he was using the sexual tension between the two men to help his acting career. Okay, listen, I'm going to go into the next story. Y'all going to be like, this is Jussie Smollett part 2? Like, we didn't know that this could escalate to a part 2. Watch, you're going to see, because now the defense, I think the defense team, the Smollett team, the defense, the litigation team for Smollett, I forget. I say Smollett because Dave Chappelle once said Jussie Smollett. So anyway, the litigation team for Jussie is saying like, we need a mistrial because the judge was being like racist or something like watch. It's ridiculous. This whole thing's a circus. He later clarified on the redirect examination that he was not homosexual and that Smollett had never initiated a sexual relationship between the two. Abimbola told the court that none of them thought police would ever become involved and that they only intended to grab the attention of the media. I was thinking, he said under cross-examination from Smollett's attorney. 𝘲𝑗𝐫𝐻𝑗𝐽, or Ola for short, testified in the afternoon and told the jury that he could not manage to get the rope around Smollett's neck. It's not funny. Like if this was actually transpiring, it's just like the fact that they were acting this out as they claim, and they couldn't even get the whole staging thing right. By the time police arrived to question Smollett, it was around the neck, which suggests he put it there himself. After the attack, Abimbola and 𝘲𝑗𝐫𝐻𝑗𝐽 flew to Nigeria in part of an audition for a Nigerian version of Big Brother. They would Google the story to see if Smollett had gotten the reaction Abimbola said he craved. Jussie wanted it. He got what he wanted. And there they are praying right before the trial. Attorney Dan Webb asked Abimbola during the redirect examination Thursday why he and his brother agreed to the attack. Abimbola said that he felt indebted to Smollett because he had gotten Abimbola a standing role in Empire and felt it would further his acting career. Instead, Abimbola said he lost his agent and his acting career is effectively over. On recross-examination, Allen asked Abimbola who the audience was for the attack. Abimbola said, according to Jussie, the media. They also testified about how Jussie, I'm just going to call him Jussie Smollett, solicited them for the attack on January 25th, asking them, "Can I trust you?" He had this crazy idea of two MAGA Trump supporters attacking them, 𝘱𝐵𝐻𝑜 said. 𝘱𝐵𝐻𝑜 confirmed Smollett wanted them to yell that he was MAGA country, referring to the President Trump's Make America Great Again slogan. He wanted the brothers to purchase the red MAGA hats. The plan, according to 𝘱𝐵𝐻𝑜, was that he would pour bleach on Smollett while putting a noose around his neck, and Abimbola would punch him. They originally considered using gasoline, but Smollett eventually deemed it too extreme. 𝘱𝐵𝐻𝑜 said that Jussie wanted Abimbola to throw the punch because he didn't trust 𝘱𝐵𝐻𝑜 to hold back his punches. The relationship between Abimbola and Jussie was later explored in testimony Wednesday by Abimbola's diet plan for Smollett. On trial for 6 counts of disorderly conduct over claims he lied to the police that he suffered a homophobic attack. Shortly before the attack took place, Smollett asked Abimbola, a fitness expert, to help him get in shape for an upcoming music video shoot. The court heard that saw the man subsequently held in jail for allegedly attacking Smollett. Prepare a meal plan and included star-kissed tuna, chicken thighs, avocados, and shots of apple cider vinegar. I swear this article is like it's revealing, but it's still. Let's see what do you guys think? Daily Mail is trash and don't try to pretend otherwise. I mean, look, I gotta be fair. Sometimes Daily Mail they're the only ones sometimes with the exclusive stories, so I can't say they're all the way trash. I can't say they're all the way trash. Okay, there is some authors that are not quite good, but yeah, I mean, we can't say that all like these news publications are just like blanketed trash. Like we have to be able to extrapolate information somehow. So I disagree. Let's continue on. Smollett's attorney also prompted him to reveal they had found a homophobic social media post on the brothers' phone where homosexual men were referred to as fruits. They intended to argue that the pair pretended to befriend Jussie with the intention of later attacking him for being gay. The jury consists of, so his story changed, essentially, right? So it's at first it was like MAGA country and it was a racist, homophobic attack and all these things, and it was nothing but Trump supporters, and then it's transforming now to, these two brothers are actually homophobic, and this is why it happened. Like, it's ridiculous. You're gonna see how much more ridiculous this gets. Continued on, there were also two alternatives. The trial is expected to last till the end of the week. He has been supported throughout his family, and he is a victim of rush to judgment by the Chicago Police Department. Says who? Who says this? Who says this? I don't know who's saying this. He has been supported through his family. He's always claimed that he didn't want to cooperate with the investigation by handing his phone over or giving DNA swabs because the police department was leaking information to the media from the beginning of the probe. Smollett's defense claims he didn't know it was Ola and Bola who attacked him because they were in disguise and wearing masks. He maintains that he thought one of them was white and claims that the brothers are sophisticated criminals who set to attack. I mean, Smollett he just can't own up to it, huh? He has to keep perpetrating and propelling the story. This it's amazing to me. It's amazing to me. I guess it is a form of cognitive dissonance from the truth that people will continue to perpetuate lies and continue to catch themselves in a web of lies. But he's sticking to his story. So anyway, he thought that one of them was white. He claims that the brothers are sophisticated criminals who set up to the attack after pretending to befriend him. On Wednesday, the third day of the trial, Chicago Police Department Detective Kimberly Murray testified that she went to the hospital to interview Smollett after the incident and noticed that he had minor injuries on his face. She told the court in Chicago that he couldn't understand why the attack hadn't been caught on surveillance cameras and was upset that it hadn't. Murray is also being cross-examined by Jussie's defense team. Yesterday, Chicago detective Michael Thace told the jury of 6 men and 6 women, 10 of whom are white, 1 of whom is black, 1 of whom is Hispanic. The entire police department was determined to find who was responsible for the attack when they first believed it was a hate crime. It was horrible. It was a hate crime, the noose. The bleach, everyone from the mayor on down wanted answers. They testified, according to CBS Chicago, which Judge James Lynn allowed into the courtroom on Tuesday morning after refusing to let the journalists inside the jury selection, then limiting the number of who will be allowed to observe the trial because of COCO restrictions. Thace also testified that after the initial attack was reported to police, Smollett tightened the rope that the brothers had put around the neck to make it more like a noose before cops arrived at his apartment. Under cross-examination by Smollett's attorney, however, he admitted that he heard from another member of the Empire cast that Bola, who worked on set, attacked them for being gay. The police never followed it up. Smollett's attorney also prompted to reveal that they had found homophobic social media posts on the brothers' phone where homosexual men were referred to as fruits. Once again, this is the second time. I mean, the case is just weak. And this is the, like, Smollett, Jussie, you will something B word, F word that ends with a G. I mean, this is just incredible. Okay, so let me pivot the story to something more ridiculous, right? Still on the subject of Jussie Smollett, by the way. Listen to this. Jussie Smollett's lawyers claim judge lunged at one of them and asked for a mistrial. Well, you guys want to hear that headline again? Okay, let me read that again. This is so exhausting. I swear it. This is so exhausting. How in the world do you propel and perpetuate lie after lie after lie after lie? Anyway, this is what they claim. Coming from the New York Post. Jussie Smollett's lawyers claim judge lunged at one of them, asked for a mistrial. Like, my goodness, the continuous victimization continues. And on today's episode of Continued Victimization, Jussie Smollett, the odd fracas came into the midst of the defense's cross-examination of 𝘱𝑗𝑗 Osundario, who claims he was paid to help Smollett stage a hate crime, as attorney Tamara Walker grilled him about his alleged homophobia and past derogatory remarks toward the suspected gay men. Like, again, and one thing I didn't mention, but when this was first mentioned in the article we just read, is how did this transpire from being a hate hoax in which is under investigation to this being like the main stage that their claim is that they're homophobic twins and they had an entire homophobic underlying motive to attacking Jussie. You know what I mean? Like, how did this become the basis? I don't understand how this transpired, but anyway. Judge James Lynn called the line of questioning collateral in front of the jury, indicating that it didn't have any relevance to the crime Smollett's on trial because it was from the past event, prompting Walker to ask for sidebar. Good, because this has nothing to do with what he's being questioned. While the attorneys were conferring with Judge Lynn, Walker claimed that he physically lunged at her when she presented the motion for mistrial, and a claim that the justice vigorously denied and was not witnessed by the Post. When you said the word mistrial on these grounds, frankly, I was stunned. You'd even consider a mistrial based on this, Lynn said. I agree. Judge Lynn, thank you for saying that. Judge Lynn, thank you so much for standing your ground, because that's ridiculous. They know exactly what they're doing. I'm gonna go see what you guys have to say. Oh my goodness. Victimology, yes. Philly, I agree. I always enjoy the memes you post. Thank you. They're trolling. Yes, they are. A defense in fluid motion depending on the day. Yup. I think they have a YouTube. I would be interested in I would actually be interested in interviewing them. I bet you they would be a hoot. I bet you they would be funny guests. I really do. I can't wait until like all this is over and they can talk about everything. You know what I mean? So anyway, let's continue. I marched right back behind my bed, she continued, adding, he didn't lunge at Walker. This is imagine the judge has to now defend himself. This is ridiculous. Walker appeared close to tears as she argued back with the judge and soon left the courtroom with her mother, who was in the gallery as the rest of Smollett's team continued to ask for mistrial. They're just trying to scapegoat this. Attorney Heather Weidel said that they had legal grounds to ask for questions and also accused the judge of visibly snarling in front of the jury anytime he sustained an objection from the prosecution and wanting to make sure his nonverbal cues were on record. Y'all, I really hope that the defense team gets what's coming to them, like as far as a fair ruling, because this is ridiculous. I mean, you can't even hold judges with honor now, like legit judges. You know, I know that there are judges out there that don't have legit honor, but you know what I mean? Like, this judge hasn't even like illustrated that he's any sort of bias or anything like that, but they're like, it just seems like they're making things up, like snarling, lunging. What? Oh, cheese and crackers. Anyway, I've noticed snarls multiple times, Weidel said. Why are these people lying? The judge took the discussion into the chambers, and when we emerged about 10 minutes later, he brought the jury back out. He told them to ignore comments he made to the attorneys. Sometimes words come out in focus or collateral. It's not part of your consideration. That's just me communicating with the lawyers, Lynn told the panelists. Who is actor Jussie Smollett, Mother Janet, Layton Criminal Courthouse. I mean, cheese and crackers. That's just me conducting the trial the way I think should be conducted. Walker then continued with her cross-examination of Olsen Diary-Row. I mean, imagine how ridiculous that is, guys. Imagine how ridiculous that is. Like, not only are they claiming, a hate hoax and perpetuating that it was a true thing and that these brothers really are homophobic, but that also you, judge, that's presiding over this case, you lunged at us and snarled at, like, brother, what? What, sister, what are you talking about? Victimology. That was the perfect way to describe this. All right, now we're going to transition into the Daily TrafficK. Now, this is a bit of a very serious story. It's quite egregious, and it has everything to do with our CIA agency, the three-letter agency that, I'll just say that a lot of people have their reservations about. That's what I'll say. You guys know what you know what I'm talking about. And surprisingly, speaking of getting our sources from, the mainstream news and it being, this is a perfect example. Why is it that if we are so against certain outlets, we can't have the ability to extrapolate information, why is it that BuzzFeed News was the only one to report this? Now, I have my criticism for BuzzFeed in the past and the stories they put out, the trash they put out. But this is what I have to say. Like, why isn't Fox News or Daily Mail or, I'm sorry, not Daily Mail, but Daily Wire, whatever independent, whatever, like news agency, why weren't they the ones to break the story? Because everybody has the abilities to do so. But for whatever reason, BuzzFeed News was the one to break this. And it's very good work. I have to give credit where it's due. CIA files say, staffers committed sex crimes involving children. They weren't prosecuted. This is very, very concerning. Over the past 14 years, the CIA, the Central Intelligence Agency, has secretly amassed credible evidence that at least 10 of its employees and contractors committed sexual crimes involving children. Though most of these cases were referred to U.S. attorneys for prosecution, only one of the individuals was ever charged with the crime. Prosecutors sent the rest of his cases back to the CIA to handle internally, meaning a few faced any consequences beyond the possible loss of their jobs and security clearances. That marks a striking deviation from how sex crimes involving children have been handled at other federal agencies, such as the Department of Homeland Security, Drug Enforcement Administration, CIA insiders say that agency resists prosecution of its staff for fear that the cases will reveal state secrets. Too late. Too late. Too late, because now we want to probe. Now we want more answers. They were afraid that the truth would get out. Now we want more answers. The revelations are contained in hundreds of internal agency reports obtained by BuzzFeed News through a FOIA lawsuit. One employee had sexual contact with a 2-year-old. This is a CIA agent, a 2-year-old, and a 6-year-old. He was fired. A second employee purchased 3 sexually explicit videos of young girls filmed by their mothers. He resigned. A third employee estimated that he had viewed up to 1,400 sexually abusive images of children while on the agency assignments. The records do not say what action, if any, the CIA took against him. A contractor who arranged for sex with an undercover FBI agent posing as a child had his contract revoked. Only one of the individuals cited with these documents was charged with the crime in that case, as in the only previously known case of a CIA staffer being charged with child sexual crimes. The employee was also under investigation for mishandling classified material. The CIA did not answer detailed questions, saying that only that agency takes allegations of possible criminal misconduct committed by personnel seriously. Really? Let me read that again. The CIA did not answer detailed questions, saying only that the agency takes all allegations of possible criminal misconduct committed by personnel seriously. Then why were they not prosecuted? Why? You don't. Then you're lying. You're not taking it seriously if they're not prosecuted. This is a very egregious crime against children. 2-year-old, 6-year-old. 1,400 images of sexually explicit material of children exploited by their mothers, the child victims, like the CIA agents. But the CIA takes it seriously, guys. A spokesperson for the Eastern District of Virginia, where many of the criminal referrals were sent, also did not answer detailed questions, saying the district takes seriously its responsibility to hold accountable federal government employees who violate federal law within our jurisdiction. 4 former officials who are familiar with how internal investigations work at intelligence agencies told BuzzFeed News that there are many reasons that prosecutors might not pursue criminal cases. One of them, familiar with the workings of the CIA Office of Inspector General, says that the agency is considered that a criminal case, it could not lose control of sensitive information. I mean, what? Like, what sensitive information? I'm so confused by this. I am so confused by this. I mean, my goodness. We have these people testify. They may inadvertently be able to force to disclose sources and methods. Let me read that again. We can't have these people testify. They may inadvertently be forced to disclose sources. Yes! Like, that's the important point. You have got to expose the sources and methods. What are you are we reading this correctly? I cannot believe I'm reading what I'm reading. The former official, let me read that again one more time. The former official who revealed the declassified Inspector General reports characterized the concern for CIA lawyers as, we can't have these people testify. They may inadvertently be forced to disclose sources and methods. I mean, that's what we want you to do, like CIA. We want you to disclose the sources and methods of these criminals and where they're sourcing their material, how they're sourcing the material. I mean, wow. The official who noted the agency had a problem with the child abuse images stretching back decades said they understand the need to protect sensitive and classified equities. However, protect your agents over the children, you mean? I'm just trying to take this apart and really understand the mentality behind not exposing this. However, for crimes of a certain class, whether it's an intelligence agency or not, you just have to figure out how to prosecute these people. Yeah, duh. You want to support more report. Okay, sorry. Sexual crimes involving children, including the viewing of images of abuse, have been uncovered at other agencies that handle sensitive information. In November of 2009, a report, the Department of Defense acknowledged that dozens of Pentagon staff members and contractors had such images. In 2014, the Inspector General of the intelligence community found that 2 officials from the National Reconnaissance Office, which oversees America's spy satellites, acknowledged viewing images of child sexual abuse during polygraph examinations. At a symposium in 2016, Daniel Payne, a top Pentagon security official, said that when workers' computers were examined, the amount of child porn I see is just unbelievable. My goodness. Why are we just talking about this? Like, you guys remember earlier this year, there was actually like a very woke CIA ad for working for the agency. And they were talking about, I mean, a plethora of intersectional causes. There was one agent, I'm Latina, I've got mental health issues. I'm not even joking with you. I'm not even joking with you. This was an actual advertisement for working for the CIA. Like, you can go search it up. I think there's like their own YouTube channel. And she was bragging about being, Latina and having mental health issues, being able to, be dominant over the feminism. It's like all these things. But we can't, so you can be intersectional and you can hold that in high regard, but we can't worry about child crime, like crimes against children. CIA. The child abuse revelations are drawn from an unprecedented release of reports by the CIA's Office of Inspector General. BuzzFeed News gained access to these documents after decade-long pursuit, which included 13 public record requests that 3 separate Freedom of Information Act lawsuits. Those requests, the earliest of which date back to 2012, were for investigations closed by the Office of the Inspector General, which acts independently of the agency to examine misconduct by employees or contractors. New requests were filed each subsequent year. At first, the CIA did not respond to the requests. Then it said it would take years to provide any documents. Those requests were followed in 2014. Followed in 2014, 2015, and 2020 by lawsuits. And the agency entered into negotiations about what documents to release. The 𝐓𝐫𝐻 planpocalypse delayed the process by a year, but the agency finally began to release the documents in March and will release the final set in December. My goodness, I can't even imagine what's going to come out of this. BuzzFeed News is publishing the reports here for public review. Well, that's very honest. I mean, bravo. Listen, we got to give credit where it's due. Bravo, BuzzFeed. I didn't think I was going to say that ever. But bravo. Legit, like bravo. Like these are the records right here. Absolutely incredible. Absolutely incredible. This is incredible work. I mean, applause. Among more than 3,000 pages covering the years of 2004 to 2019 are investigations, big and small, involving billing irregularities by contractors, a spy who expects a visit to an overseas gentleman's club, and an employee who used government computer systems to resell more than 700 items purchased at yard sales. Okay. Other reports have been subject of previous news coverage, such as the CIA's involvement in the production of Zero Dark 30, the torture of detainees held at black site prisons, and decade-old operation in Peru that led to the death of missionaries. More recent reports show that a CIA employee was investigated in October 2018 for using agency computer systems and databases to conduct unofficial searches on her brother, that the Inspector General substantiated allegations in January of 2018 memorandum that another CIA employee violated the Hatch Act, which limits political activity by civil servants and executive branch. The documents also reveal that the pattern of sexual abuse cases whereby internal investigators unearthed evidence of sexual crimes involving children, but federal prosecutors brought no charges. As a typical of intelligence documents, the records have been heavily redacted. Among the information that was been hidden are the names of the accused Among the information that's been hidden are the names of the accused employees and the contractors that details their jobs at the CIA. The agency cites privacy reasons, national security. They are the national security violation. They are the national security violation. You have harmed children by exploiting them and continue perpetuating this problem and fueling the industry and the demand by downloading and watching this horrific material. What are you talking about, CIA, that there is a national security measure that you're and private that you're with their privacy? Excuse me? There's also a federal law that exempts the CIA from disclosing details about its operations. And here's an excerpt from that documentation. You guys can see a screenshot here. For those listening on podcast, we just see like a snippets from our screenshot from the documentation. And it cites during the 2008, November 17, 2008 interview with OIG, redacted admitted to SA redacted that on or about redacted had inappropriate sexual activity with an unidentified 2-year-old girl. In his February 17, 2009 statement to SA redacted, admitted to having inappropriate sexual contact with redacted, then 6-year-old redacted on 2 separate occasions. I got to see what you guys are chiming in right now, because this is absolutely disgusting. Absolutely disgusting. I found the article BuzzFeed News to read later. Here, I will put the link right for you guys that are because you guys have the privilege of being in the comments right now and watching me live. Here's the link. So there it is. It's in the comments. Go ahead and save it. Go ahead and share it. It's egregious. Not knowing the identities of the suspects and a hindrance in identifying these cases and why they were declined, the spokesperson for the Eastern District of Virginia said, of the 10 workers who were the inspector general found that committed sexual crimes involving children, 5 were fired or resigned. 4 others were referred to a personnel board or the Office of Security, which investigates classified leaks and is responsible for the safety of CIA facilities. The outcome of one case, in which 10 child sexual abuse images were discovered on a CIA computer that had been left unattended, is unknown. The employee to whom that device was assigned to said he switched computers while he was overseas. He denied using it to view such material. My goodness. And you guys at the CIA are afraid of national security measures. And you got a CIA agent who's over here watching child sexual exploitation material on their work computer. Then they just swap computers, and that's allowed, and there's no traceability to that. You're the CIA. Excuse me? I am so baffled at this. I'm not surprised, just baffled at the incompetence of a 3-letter agency to allow such egregious activity, crimes, evil prevail perpetually. In an 11th case, the inspector general received a complaint in November of 2016 that an employee using a government computer to watch sexual abuse images, although the investigators couldn't corroborate the allegation, they discovered he had shown the consistent interest and pattern of redacted conversations involving sexual activities between adults and minors. The inspector general alerted security officials and Directorate of Science and Technology because the accusation raised potential security and accountability issues. You think? Details of how the case was resolved at any penalty that the employee faced are redacted. Beyond the CIA's handling of these cases, questions linger over why U.S. attorneys chose not to charge anyone, even when they seem to have significant evidence. Prosecutors generally have wide discretion over whether to bring criminal charges. They can judge the evidence too old or weak, consider a crime victim's desire to proceed with prosecution, and weigh the chances of convincing a jury. The occupation or employer of the suspect does not factor into the evaluation. The spokesperson, what? Doesn't factor into the evaluation. The spokesperson for the U.S. attorney, you should be held at a higher regard. Should be. They're definitely not now in the eye of court, the court of public opinion. The spokesperson for the U.S. Attorney's Office for the Eastern District of Virginia said, while we cannot comment on the reasons why specific cases were declined, we do take very seriously any allegation that our prosecutors declined a potential case based on an improper assessment of the relevant factors. It appears that at least half of the sexual abuse investigations originated with a confession. The documents do not spell the circumstances surrounding those statements or whether they emerged during grueling full-scope polygraph examinations that probe every part of the CIA employees' and contractors' lives. During those screenings, one former intelligence official told BuzzFeed News, it is not uncommon for a candidate to admit unlawful behavior in order to prove they aren't lying, only later to realize that their statement might have sunk their chance to work for the agency and even put them in legal jeopardy. Such statements are sent to the Inspector General, which then tries to collect evidence proving that the crime occurred. But it gives the subject time to delete or destroy evidence that said the former official. That's what happened in January of 2010. So now these agents, this just gets more ridiculous. They have the opportunity to delete this evidence. So that happened in January of 2010 when a CIA contractor logged into a chat room using an agency IP address and solicited sex from an FBI agent posing as a child. The contractor acknowledged an obsession with child sexual abuse images, but by the time the Inspector General obtains a search warrant and sees the man's computer, someone had removed the hard drives and thrown them away, according to the reports. And this is just a repetition of what I just cited right now. Another CIA employee signed an affidavit admitting he used government laptops to view photographs and videos of girls as young as 10 being abused by an older guy. The employee acknowledged that the first began seeking child sexual abuse images while he was in college and viewed as many as 1,400 while on assignment for the agency. He told the CIA investigators that he was truly sorry, but also said that he did not understand that it was a violation of agency policy to access child pornography until he took the agency information security course. My goodness, the amount of incompetency, the amount of dishonesty and just plain, I mean, he didn't know. He knew. Well, it wasn't until I took like an internal course that I thought this was totally normal and okay. You did? When the Inspector General examined the man's computers, however, no such images were visible. A federal prosecutor declined to charge the man a favor of administrative action by the CIA. The personnel board's recommendation is redacted, but in several of the cases, prosecutors had plenty to go on. During an investigation that ended in August of 2009, an official with security clearance acknowledged to having sexual contact with two girls, 2 and 6, downloading illicit images while working for the CIA. The Inspector General started a broad inquiry and attempted to identify the victims. The investigators found that he had extensively, this is the same dude, downloaded abuse material such as 63 videos of children between 8 and 16. The man regularly used government Wi-Fi to download the material. He distributed it to others, and he brought the photos back into the U.S. after he returned from a trip overseas. Despite the admissions and the evidence that the investigators found on his devices, prosecutors from the Eastern District of Virginia declined to take up the criminal case. They told the Inspector General that they were taint issues, a term that sometimes used to refer to mishandled evidence. Mishandled evidence? The attorneys also said that the girls in the videos had not been previously identified child pornography victims, making it harder to prove that they were minors. I'm sick to my stomach. I'm sick to my stomach. We have 3-letter agencies infiltrated by not just peppered in pedophiles, pedal filing cabinets, pedophiling cabinets. Not just peppered in, but infiltrated at most. And they're never prosecuted, never reprimanded. By contrast, only 2 cases known have led to criminal charges. Both parties are now accused of serious offenses related to classified information. According to August 6, 2013, Inspector General report, an investigation into a CIA contractor suspected of being in possession of child sexual abuse images turned up classified material stored in his personal hard drive and numerous technical documents related to the agency systems on his laptop. The contractor was fired and stripped of his security clearance. He later pleaded guilty to the child abuse charges and registered as a sex offender. The report says that the contractor was sentenced, but the details along with his name were redacted. In another case, CIA software Joshua Schultz was charged in 2018 with possession of child sexual abuse images as part of a much larger investigation into the largest leak of classified information in the agency's history, known as the Vault 7 and published WikiLeaks. The trove of documents revealed secret tools that the CIA used to hack into computers. It was prosecuted under the Espionage Act. Schultz faces a separate trial on this child sexual abuse charges. He was pleaded not guilty. I mean, and that's it. That's what, you know, I'm not. No, of course I don't believe it's just one 3-letter agency. This very story proved there was one CIA agent that actually got caught by an FBI agent. So what happened with that? So now there's two 3-letter agencies involved, because not only is the CIA complicit, but now the FBI. No, we've been knowing about this. This is not news, right? It's just the extensiveness of it. It's the extensiveness. It's the details. We always know that this is happening. We see that, and you guys, if you're sticking with me, you know, and you see, and if you're sticking with me in my reports every day, you know, I'm always talking about the trafficking headlines, child sexual abuse headlines, and we hear it every day. There's so many different people on so many different spectrums, and it's unfortunate. Noble positions, cops, Navy officers, just so many different pediatricians that are implicated in this type of stuff, you know. So this doesn't surprise me. We see people from all walks of life, all political spectrums. For crying out loud, we just went through Josh Duggar's story yesterday, and his father's running for a Republican position in, I believe, in Arkansas. What is his name? Jim something. And they're standing by his son in his egregious accusations and material that's found on his computer. So it's way more than one 3-letter agency. Of course, I know that. Of course, and we've even seen FBI agents that have even been caught up in this type of stuff as well. It's my goodness, I have no words. I really don't. I have no words for tonight. I mean, this is just, it's incredible. It's incredible how we've gotten to this point in our society where 3-letter agents are just getting away with this, not prosecuted. We're just absolutely infiltrated at all levels. So I know that that's a darker note to end on, but that's reality. That's today's reality. That's today's news. That's today's reality that we have to be faced with. That, you know, there's absolute complicity in every single level of our establishments, our agencies, and there's no accountability. There's no one held accountable. No one held at prosecuted level. I mean, but you guys know now, right? At detail, at least at detail. If you already knew this, at detail, you know how bad it is. Oh my goodness. Anyway, thank you guys so much for your attentiveness. Thank you again for your support. There is a tip jar in my description. Please know that I am viewer funded. So anything helps with buying my meals and supporting my keeping my lights on. So I appreciate you guys. And I appreciate you all just stay to the news. I did do a Ghislaine Maxwell Day 4 coverage on my main channel. So go to youtube.com/Natly Denise, or if you like the podcast, you can go to natlydenise.com/podcast and find the links there. Yeah, I've uploaded it on all platforms, so you guys can go get that coverage there. But anyway, I love you all. Thank you so much for your love, your support, and also sharing this content, because nobody's talking about this, unfortunately. You guys have a great night. Please rest up. And I will talk to you in tomorrow's cast. Bye-bye, guys. Bye.
Thank you so much for tuning in to Unravel with Natly Denise. Please give this podcast 5 stars.